when Suella Braverman said this over the weekend.
We cannot allow our streets to be taken over by rows of tents occupied by people, many of them from abroad, living on the streets as a lifestyle choice.
It obviously made people react like this.
So my question to you. Suella Braverman says that it is a choice of lifestyle to live on the streets of Britain, and she wants to bring in a law that will restrict charities from handing out tents to homeless people in winter.
We're here today because Suella Braverman insists on using rhetoric which demonises the people that we help. It dehumanises them.
There is no need to use tents for accommodation in 21st century Britain.
It's the kind of statement that stokes division and gets people talking about the issue that Braverman has served up. Just today, though, I posited the idea people should constantly bring the argument back to the fact Braverman is doing it on purpose. In fact, these are the words I used. Ultimately, anybody who opposes Braverman and her actions need to constantly link her controversial policies and statements to the actual source of Braverman's desire to be the next Tory leader. So it comes as a bit of a surprise that somebody used the exact argument on Politics Live. Here we have Shadow Cabinet Office Secretary Baroness Chapman using that angle as a counter-attack.
Is it right in the first instance, Jenny Chapman, in your mind, that there are some people living in tents on the streets and they're doing so as a lifestyle choice, and should that be language used by the Home Secretary?
It should not be language used by the Home Secretary. I don't think for a minute that Suella Braverman is saying this because she believes it to be true. She is saying this because she wants to get some attention and to position herself for a leadership contest within the Conservative Party that she anticipates will happen next year. That is what this is about.
Finally, we have another Baroness, Baroness Warsi, slamming Braverman and the danger she poses.
And that's why what disgusts me is that these protests had been planned for weeks. They were in discussions with the Met Police for weeks. The route was well away from the cenotaph for weeks. And yet last week, the Home Secretary decided to embolden and make this a political issue, to embolden the far right, to make this a political issue, knowing full well, and she'd been briefed by the Met, of what the route of the march was going to be, and the fact that they didn't have concerns at this stage. She has now made this a live political issue.
Why do you think she's done that?
And because that's the way she operates, right? She fights culture wars. She doesn't fix things. She breaks things.
You think she's
and one of the
dangerous
things,
then?
I think she's dangerous and she's divisive. If you look at her rhetoric, it is always about pitching A against B. I've said this before. We have now, sadly, some of my colleagues in government who project as patriots, but they are indeed arsonists. They set this country alight. They pit community against community. They create these fires, and that is not the job of a government. The job of a government is to keep us all safe, and you do that by creating a sense of ease, not by fighting culture wars.
Click here to see the controversy caused by Braverman saying that living in tents is a lifestyle choice.